What's going on, y'all? Episode 6 of the Classmates podcast. Man, it don't seem like we done went that fast,
Nah.
but we here now. We
Yeah.
are definitely here now. But this is your host with the most. I am A-Rod Go Hard, and this is.
KB, stop playing with me. Good morning. I got my coffee.
Me
Look, we
too, man.
rolling.
Listen, yes.
Normally we tape in like afternoon, but the morning coffee got me pumped in a different
I
way.
can tell. I can tell. I can tell, but it's a beautiful feeling. I saw your post this morning. She was talking about the eyebrows. I was like, KB is giving face this morning.
This
Check
morning,
it
all
out.
morning, eyebrows all morning.
So, KB, what we talking about this week? What we talking about?
So we're gonna piggyback off a viral post that we saw today. It was concerning King Von's son. His mother, the mother of his son and the football coach had some type of discrepancy. So what we're gonna attempt to get into is a woman's ability to properly and emotionally discipline or guide a male. We do know that King Von, unfortunately, is no longer with us, and he has a son that's on a little league football team. He's 5 years old, and an incident happened where the mama took him off the team. They were getting water. Something happened. Some water got squirted in the 5-year-old's eye. He started crying. Probably had some type of meltdown. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
If it was like caused a disturbance. And the coach yelled at him. Basically told him to shut the f up. And we don't cry. This is football. We don't cry in football. Is what he told the mom. He told him if he wanted to keep it up, he was going to set him over there with the cheerleaders.
I saw that.
So mom, of course, did not like that. She got angry. She took him off the team. He no longer plays football for those people. And so the back and forth was about women. This is why guys have the problems that they have. Women need to just let men do the talking. He's the coach. They were in the game. Let him handle that within the game. And then some people are saying, no, I don't care if you're the coach or not. You don't get to talk to people, kids, any kind of way. So that's what we're gonna get into today.
Yeah.
The effects of that. Because while this is one person in one situation, this happens all the time.
Most definitely.
If there are any coaches that work with children, I would love for y'all to chime in the
Antoine,
comments.
Thorpe.
Tap in, and let us know. And this is not to bash Black women. We love everybody. We love all parents, whether they're single or not. But let us know how you feel from a coaching standpoint. If you know you're a good person and you're coming with a good heart to lead and guide these kids, do you feel pushback? You know what I'm saying, from some of these moms in regards to how you're handling the kids, and what be the problem for real? Like right now, the problem was, I think maybe if he wouldn't have cussed or said something about, are we gonna put you over there with the cheerleaders, she might could have handled a rough talking, or maybe a yelling, or more of a stern kind of drill sergeant approach.
Yeah.
She might have could have handled that. I think it was the fact that he cussed, and then he relegated him to, oh, because you won't stop crying, you need to go to the girls section.
See, I didn't really hear her. Like, I didn't hear the part about him actually cussing at the little boy or anything like that. Maybe there was
It
something.
was an article. No, I think that wasn't part of the video. I read that.
Okay,
As part,
okay.
yeah, that was separate.
But I did see where he did say, or like she did say that, like, he was going to send him over there to the cheerleaders. Don't get me wrong. I played sports all my life. I can't say that I've always played sports under a coach, but I've always had somebody guiding me inside of that. And sports is a different animal. It's a different beast, and you definitely have to have a thick skin as far as the player and as far as the parents as well.
I agree.
I
agree.
You have to, because
Even in cheerleading, I think that's true.
Right. Like it has to be different. I understand the fact that he's 5 years old. Do I feel like the coach might have went a little bit overboard for a 5-year-old? Yeah, you might have did. You tiptoed on the line as far as like handling that situation the right way. But it's kind of, we got to take into consideration that these coaches don't just coach 5-year-olds. 9 out of 10, they're coaching 5 or 6, 7 different teams, and all of these age groups are different that they're coaching.
Mhm.
So it's kind of hard to turn the coach mode off even when you're dealing with somebody younger. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that's a good point.
Like it's kind of it's if you're used to being a disciplinarian, or you're used to you're actually like putting guidance or actually trying to teach somebody how to do something.
Mhm.
It's hard to turn that off when you're talking if when you're used to that being your persona. And these kids and these young adults or these young individuals, they're not looking at you. Well, I can't say they're not looking at you. Sometimes you do gain, like, okay, let's say you're a father figure or anything, but that doesn't, most of the time, that doesn't come until you've actually built a relationship with these kids. They're not coming into it looking for a dad. You're coming to me because you want me to coach your kid, or you want me to coach, I got a specific
Correct.
thing that I'm doing. So it's, it's that teeter-totter as far as like, are they treating my child a different way? And
Mhm.
I feel like with by men actually playing these, I feel like we're able to adjust a little bit more than a woman will, because a woman has that nurturing. It's like it's as much as it is as hard as it is for the coach to turn off coach mode, it's hard as fuck for a mama to turn off mama mode
It
too.
don't. It ain't
You
got
know
no
what I'm
off
saying?
switch.
It's hard to turn that off. So like it's how do you balance that? So I definitely get where you're coming from. Like, how do like have you ever been in that situation as being a black mother? Like, have you? I know you got all girls, but I'm like, y'all know your girls have cheerleaded and they've done sports and everything too. How
Mhm.
have you handled that? How have you dealt with it?
Well, I think it's never crossed a line for me that had me hot or upset. It was always a teaching moment for my kids. Whether it be certain people get away with certain stuff, but then the rest of us got to run laps when we do it.
Mm,
Whether it be XYZ, I always teach them how to master the situation.
gotcha.
Nobody's ever like laid hands on my kids. Nobody has ever called my child a B word. Nobody, it's never got to that. In which case, I always tell my kids, don't you do or say nothing because you don't want to get in trouble. Call me.
Right.
When it gets that bad,
Hmm.
just let me know. You know what I'm saying? But I do. I mean, there were some times where things were questionable, but it didn't involve my child. So I stayed, I prayed to the Lord and I minded my business. Because if it would have been, you do
Yeah.
not talk to kids like that.
Yeah.
So yes, it do happen and people get out of pocket. But I think as long as it's not, like you said, it's crossing lines. If it's within your home and what you think is crossing the line, you teach them how to deal with, you teach them how to perfect that, you teach them how to master that. It's a way to checkmate everything if your mind's strong enough.
True indeed.
And just like mean teachers, hateful, racist teachers, I always teach my kids, you arguing back is not going to win anything. You have to learn how to get in there, do what you're supposed to do, get what out of it you're supposed to get out of it, and you'd be surprised how you can shut people the hell up. There is power in just moving in what you're supposed to do. And
Mhm.
you can apply that in sports. Maybe the coach went overboard that day. Maybe this or that happened. You put your game face on, you go in, you do what you're supposed to do. When he come around 5 minutes later, laughing, buddy, you keep that game face on and keep doing what you're supposed to do. Cause nigga, 5 minutes ago, you was treating me like this was boot
Right.
camp.
Right. Right.
Now I'm
Right.
gonna keep the game
Right.
face on since that's what you want to do. I'm gonna keep the game face on till we leave practice.
But it's
You
kind
see
of
what I'm saying? It's
I
like
do.
you got to teach them how to deal with resistance. And I feel like I fought the mom because pulling him off of the team is not teaching him. I don't think it was that bad to take him off the team.
And that's what I was gonna say too. I was about to speak on that point. Um
You're teaching him that men run from problems.
and at five and I like it's like the piece, like the game face piece, that's kind of hard to like for a 5-year old. It's kind of hard to find a game face,
Right. I mean, I
because
understand.
it's
I'm
kind of
talking
hard.
about like more in
I-
reference to my
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Like they're a little bit older though.
But speaking to the point of her actually pulling him off of the team, like I felt like I agree with you. That was a little bit too far, because this young man is probably gonna be thinking like, my homeboys are on the team, my friends are playing football. It's not something like I
When
didn't
they
want to.
win the championship, you gotta look at the pictures
I you
online.
and you're
You
not
won't
there,
there.
and where's the resentment gonna go to? It's not the resentment's not gonna go to the coach. The resentment's not gonna go to the friends, anything. It's gonna go
To the
straight to you.
mom.
Like, mom, why did you
Yep.
take me? Like, They just won the championship. I could have won. I could have got my medal. I could have got my trophy. All of that. It was just a bad day. It could have, and it could have been I feel like she could have taken that moment to actually be a teacher moment for that little boy. As far as saying like,
Definitely.
why are you crying? What was the reason why? Why are we at this point?
Mhm.
He probably would have said, Coach was trying to give me water. He sprayed water in my eye. It hurt, anything
It
like
was an
that.
accident.
It was an accident. Like, and the coach could have been able to have that opportunity to do that. But when you go into it with that mindset, like you're going to protect your son, you're not going into it thinking that you're not going into it actually feeling like it's a coachable moment, because you're going to protect your
Mhm.
mama bear at this moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're not going to talk to him like that. F that, fuck that. Like, this is mine. He belongs to me, and he ain't got to play for you.
Right.
That ain't cool, you know.
And
That's not all
two,
right.
let's assess the situation, because what it comes down to is people, the males are saying this is what's wrong with little boys, and the women are saying this is what's wrong with little boys. But here's where the difference is. And I think everybody has valid points. You got to find a middle ground for your child. It's overly softening. It's you're not allowing a man to be a man, and I get that. I do see that happening. However, on the coach's end, you're not. You're relegating normal feelings such as pain and crying to femininity.
Yeah,
You told
yeah,
him now you are a cheerleader if you don't stop crying. That is also what's wrong with men too.
yeah.
And the reason why a lot of especially black men have zero emotional intelligence but will take your head off on sight because of that, never been allowed to cry. You know what I'm saying? Now
Mhm.
let's think about it. Even as an adult, let some smoke get in your eye.
You
Let
know,
somebody squirt some in your eye. I don't give a damn if it was by accident.
right.
For a second, you can be like, whoo. You know what I'm saying? It might make it water. I might make it.
Mhm.
Now rewind back to when you was 5. That might have been actual pain until it
Yes,
subsided. And
yes.
even when the pain subsides, you still can't see out that damn eye for a few seconds either.
True indeed.
Why aren't we taking into account why he's crying? We're just mad that he wouldn't stop
Yeah,
and be a boy, grow up. You know, that is all flawed, and I need us to remove that from American thinking. Did he even apologize for squirting him in the eye? You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's certain stuff, okay, make him look at it like this, hold your eye. Give him a paper towel, do like, and a lot of stuff that I know is just gonna take time. It ain't nothing mama can do. I don't pick my kids up. I don't hold them. They too big for that now anyway.
Yeah,
Go get you a wet paper towel.
right.
Go get you a rag. Hold it right there. Don't move. Don't take it off. Then by the time they get frustrated with me for making them hold their rag,
It's
it
done.
don't hurt no more and they forgot.
Right.
Okay, go put the rag in the dirty clothes. Go finish playing.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Help them deal with the moment. Don't shame the moment, because right now you're probably aggravated that he's being a crybaby.
That's
If
it.
we be honest, the coach is
Yeah.
probably just aggravated and not taking into account what he was actually experiencing in that moment.
That's exactly what that was. And
And not to say, what if he's really sensitive and cries a lot?
that is what
That
I
may be a little annoying.
and and you have to look at the situation. This little boy has lost his father.
Tragically and in
Yes,
publicly.
yes. And it's something that he'll never be able to get away from. He's always gonna be like his father being who he was, like it's always gonna be tied to him. As far as you Vaughn's son, you not supposed to be crying, like your daddy your daddy won't out here being no bitch or anything like that.
Right.
Like he's gonna always hear that. So he's probably always gonna have to deal with, how do I emotionalize at any moment in time?
What is okay
What
for
is
me to
okay
do?
what is okay for me to do? If you look at that little boy, he looked just like his daddy.
Mhm.
Dreads just like him, everything. Like, he's the spitting image of Vaughn. And there's no running away from that. And like you said, the messed up part about it is he probably is one of those sensitive kids, because
What he went through.
everybody is probably nurturing him. No, everywhere he goes, he's probably the coddled child,
Yeah.
because it's like, man,
Poor you.
poor you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then by his father being a celebrity, it's like it's extra added on to it. So it's like, we really gotta pull you in. We really gotta make sure that you're taken care of. We really gotta make sure that you're nurtured. Like, you can do whatever it is that you can do whatever you want to do. he really can't. He really can't do whatever it is that you want to do if he wants to actually live a productive life and be able to interact with people. Because if for one, if he's always dealing with that, always going through that, and then every time he goes to a situation and his mama gets mad, she pulling him out or something, like
Yeah.
he's going to be fucked
He's
up.
gonna quit everything he does.
Everything.
Every venture, every project, every business he want to start. As soon as it don't go his way, he gonna quit.
And it's gonna and it's not justified, but like the people that actually putting this into his life now are justifying everything. So he's not gonna see any wrong in him saying, I don't want to do this shit no more.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part about it. But
So let's peel back this layer of the onion. When are we going to entertain the idea that people can be guided and disciplined without being cussed at and demeaned? We have a real, and I understand some situations are tougher than other when we're looking at training and re-education, when we're looking at boot camps, when we're looking at military, when we're looking at certain things. And I feel like sports lightweight falls in line with those things, as far as how structured and how disciplined it gets. But is it not possible to guide and discipline without cursing and demeaning? Because what I see for parents is when you can't, a lot of the time, and see, this probably ain't this boy's first crying fit.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But what I see is, and this is us teaching them wrong too, when you can't get them to do what you want them to do, you resort to the cursing and demeaning. Yes, we're natural and human. I feel like all parents gonna yell sometimes because you get out of God. You didn't hear me the first time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily natural to curse at a 5-year-old.
No.
It's not necessarily natural to. And see, another thing is the gender confusion. I don't like how you are. So kids are already 5 years old talking about, I'm a boy, I want to be a girl. I'm a girl, I want to be a boy. And you ain't lived this experience really long enough to like it or dislike it.
Right.
So just let kids live. Don't say this is for girls, that is for boys. Let kids live and experience and feel, and you guide them in right and wrong. And they're going to end up being who they want to be anyway. Plenty of gay people came out of 2-parent households.
Most
you
definitely.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they're going to be who they want to be anyway. Just guide it going up. Don't give them the impression that emotionalism is for girls, or I can't express pain, that's for girls. You know what I'm saying? So then you grow up. Now when he's 10 and want to be a cheerleader, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Let's get down. Do you really feel like you a girl on the inside, or you feel like as a man you can't express yourself, so you got to put yourself in this box? And that's effed up too.
True
you
indeed.
know what I'm saying? Kids are confused enough about gender. You know what I'm saying? Without having, I don't know if you remember the whole kitchen set argument. Is it gay to get a little boy a kitchen set?
That right
Do
there
you
bothered
remember that?
me. Yes, I do. But
Okay.
and it bothered me. It bothered me real bad, because just in general, if you look at cooking shows, if you watch the Food Network, anything like that, most of your popular chefs are men. Men make, and it's a well-known fact. It's documented that men make more money in the food industry than women ever have.
It's just that you see so many women in food that confuses.
And I don't think it's a woman around here that can cook better than me.
All right, so what I just heard, ladies and gentlemen, was a cook-off. We need a Gramble. We need a Gramble. 100 women versus Jason.
Versus me.
Cook-off. I need all your greatest women. I need you.
I'm the gorilla.
Go find your aunties, your grandmas that still living, your baby mamas that cook good. This is a challenge. I hear a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Father God, we're gonna do something about this right here. He said can't nobody mess with him in the kitchen.
It's not too many out here.
I need to get a good group of 5. I need 5 ladies to throw some stuff together.
Well, I'm gonna say this right here. Like if it's gonna,
he a bad mamma jamma. I'm gonna give it to him. I'm not gonna take that from him.
Now, if it's gonna be 5 or 6 of y'all, I ain't gonna call my homeboy Justin, my little brother. I am gonna get Justin to come and help me.
You can,
Now.
you can have an assistant.
I can have a
We
assistant.
will allow an assistant.
Say less.
I'm gonna be one of the judges. I'm tasting everything. Taste test panel.
But to really like deep dive into like what we said the topic was gonna be, as far as like women actually like bringing males up to actually, I can't say to be sensitive or like just being who they are. Like, how do women do it? I'll say this. I feel like I was lucky that my mom was a tomboy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So you had a different kind
I
of
had a
advantage that most
that
boy
mo-
moms
like
ain't
most
had.
like most boys don't get. You know what I'm saying? Most boys, like, their moms are just taking them to practice, picking them up from practice, like making sure they're at the games and everything like that. They're not going out there playing basketball. They're
Your
not
mom
going
was
out there.
playing with
She
you.
was playing basketball with us, like she was kicking our ass.
Go.
Like baseball, like softball, everything. Like my mom played softball. Like my aunts, I grew up in a very very athletic family. My aunts played softball, played basketball with us, and everything like that. So like the dynamics and the demographics was like a little bit different for me as far as coming up, because I never got. If I got knocked down and I scraped my knee, my mom was right there to like, look, we're just gonna dust y'all. Come on, go ahead and cry it out.
But
Go
that's
sit
fair
down.
to add, before you even got in front of anybody's coaches or people like that, you got that from home.
Exactly.
So nobody coach had to tell you stop crying, boy. You know what I'm saying?
My mom would just she would dust it off, put a band-aid on it. If you're going to cry, I need you to go and get yourself together.
That's what I needed that coach to do.
Yes.
Take him out, let him know. Now, I understand you hurting and you crying, but you can't play and participate in the game if you are in the throes of emotionalism.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to get out of that, and then you can come back to the game. That's a better lesson than, since you want to cry, go be a cheerleader. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And now you are actually insulting women for crying, for being feminine, the soft and feminine that you want us to be when we are. That's a negative.
And
also.
I know some tough ass cheerleaders that don't cry, so
hey,
you can't put
I seen girls break noses, arms, and nothing. They didn't cry all the way to the ambulance.
Exactly. I'm about to say, so you actually putting it on you just like you said, you putting it on a demographic, or you just putting it on, or cheerleaders cry. Like, no, that's not okay
necessarily.
Either. That's not okay either, you know? Cause I've watched cheerleading competitions and I've seen girls get thrown up in the air, come down, don't nobody catch them. And it's like, oh my God. And they just like, the leg is broken, the ankle turned all this way, and all they doing is, and they just holding it like, oh my God, somebody just come and get me. You know what I'm saying?
The sight of it really hurt them probably more than it was hurting.
It ain't even, and they're not even crying, just come and get me off of the stage. Get me out of here. I don't want nobody seeing me like right this. And that's I feel like that's the thing. Because, and like, to get to that piece again, I've been to basketball games, I've been to football games, and you will hear these moms in the crowd. If their son gets knocked down, gets hit a little bit too hard, call doesn't go the way they want it to, and you're out there and you're showing, and I hate to say it like this, but you showing your ass. No way, you're not gonna do my child like that. You're not gonna do my son like that. Man, do you know how embarrassing that is? It's more embarrassing than anything else. Cause you know your mama's voice out there. If you don't know nobody else's voice in the world, you know your mama's.
Especially when it's loud.
Man, what? You know my mama had a deep voice, and that right, my voice is like hers. So like I knew my mama when she said something.
Now imagine it echoing in a gym.
And I really feel like that was one of the main reasons why my mama, in my whole time of playing organized sports, my mama came to one game. That was my senior night game. Mm-hmm. That's the only game she came to. As a kid, you feel like why won't she come? I want my mama here just like everybody else mama here. But she was one of those, because she was the one that actually brought us up. She's like, I can't deal with it if I do see you, if I do see something happen
She
to you,
coming out there on the field.
man, my grandma did it. South Granville, first ever game. I only played 1 year of high school basketball. The night we played South Granville at South Granville, my grandma came to the game. Somebody at that time I could jump. Somebody clipped me out the air, and it took me a little while to hit the ground.
Okay.
By the time I hit the ground and looked up, they pulling my grandma off of the basketball court. You're not
Granny,
gonna do my baby
no.
like that. I'm like, nah, that's not what we do. That's not what we do. Do I love the fact that you got my best interest at heart? Do I love the fact that you want to come out here and get me? Yes, but in this song right here, nah.
Mhm.
If I break my leg, just let me break it. You gonna be the one that's helped me get it together. But like, just let it go down the way it's supposed to, like the way it go down here. Like with that situation, by him being so young, it's like almost an understanding of like that's your baby. I get it. You wanna make sure that you just want to make sure that he's protected. But you have to take your mama hat off when you actually when you're putting your child in a situation where mama can't be there for him all the time. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a game that you might not be able to make. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a practice that you're not going to be able to, that you're going to have to get your sister or your brother or somebody or his aunts or one of his aunts or uncles to take him to. You're not going to be there for every single play. You're not going to be there for every single snap. You're not going to be there for every single down. Every single time he swings the baseball bat, every time he takes a basketball shot, you're not going to be there. You have to have some type of trust in the person that you gave your kid to. Because that's really what you're doing. You're not handing your child over. But what you're saying is like, I I have the respect for you, and I feel like you have the capability of taking care of my child and coaching them up in a way that they can be successful in this thing. If you don't have that, don't put your kids in fucking sports.
Yeah. Now,
It's just
okay.
that simple.
So I think so. What I'm hearing,
Yeah.
if women, I'm just trying to put it myself in the shoes. If I had sons, right? Women really need a liaison
Hmm.
for whether it's an uncle, whether it's a mentor. Maybe we need more mentorship programs
Hmm.
for people that don't even have that key point in the family.
Yeah.
To be that person with that guy,
Hmm.
whether it's going with them to practice, whether it's before I fly off the handle, talk to a man. Tell a man what happened. Tell him everything, not just your side. Tell him the whole
Hmm.
story of what happened. Let him talk to the child about how he feel,
Hmm.
not just listen to mama and her attitude. And then y'all come up with a solution together. Not that this is your man, not that he tell you what to do,
Hmm.
but for the love of your child, get a male perspective. Because I know a lot of women that were single moms, they raise sons, they're great, wonderful stand-up guys, they're good fathers, they're good workers, they're good husbands. I also know, beloved, single moms that raise sons that are horrible examples of humanity.
Yes.
They're spoiled, they're
Hmm.
entitled, they think the world revolves around them. They are only in high school and already abusive, all types of stuff like that.
Yeah.
What made that difference? Because both sets of these women did not have a man that they could count on. But somehow, some way, did they have some type of support that maybe these women had zero men support at all? Not even a mentor, not even a neighbor.
And I and it's crazy, KB, because you can tell the men who have like came up in single parent households that had a male figure, had some type of male figure, and the ones who didn't.
Because the ones that had some type of male figure, they know how to change a tire.
What?
They know how to handle they fit. They're not out here shooting people behind some coochie. They have emotional regulation.
Mhm.
Those people, while they may not have had a dad, and they may be regretful about that, they were still somehow able to show up and be a dad
Right.
for their kids.
Hmm.
That's, to me, those are some of the biggest differences in the babied men that grew up and they didn't have that man. They can't keep a job. A lot of them.
Hmm.
It's so many things. So many
And
things.
and in the society that we live in, it's like we want to, in so many ways, we look at those men as it's like y'all ain't shit. We do, but we don't look at the root cause of why they're like that, because they never had to do anything. They never had to do nothing. If they got in trouble, mama gonna always come up to the.
Defend them,
We gonna go up, gonna go.
Lord.
Mama gonna go up to the school. This my child. You're not gonna talk to my child this way. I bought him. You know he can't have his Doritos. You didn't buy them Doritos. I bought them.
Yeah. Okay, you didn't,
Yeah.
honey, you didn't buy this school,
Yeah,
and they can't have them in here.
and that it's like when you have somebody who's going to always defend your bullshit, you're always going to look for somebody who's going to always defend it.
Yeah.
And that's why you have these broken down dudes who like always have no choice but to depend on a woman for everything, because they know they cannot integrate with real men or men with structure, because they never had any. So they feel out of place.
Mhm.
They gotta I gotta do extra to make these men feel like, okay, I'm valid to be around this group. No, we know you, and we know you not. we know you don't got any. We know you don't got anything
When
in
the
you.
betas pretend to be alphas,
That's it.
what do the other alphas say? What is the chatter on the fly on the wall?
Go in the
'Cause
store.
I've seen it.
Do you know what happens to those guys?
No, I'm interested though.
Go in the store. We're gonna be sitting out here, and we're gonna send you to the store. You know that one, the store runner,
The do boy.
the store. Yeah, that's yeah. Most of the time, that's who that is. That's who that guy is. You're going to the store.
Not the store runner.
Yes.
I am so weak. Ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen, I have come to a realization about the store runner. And it makes total sense now. So, ladies, if your baby daddy was the store runner, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He probably didn't have a daddy.
And even if he did, like his dad was one of those, like, we gotta realize this.
Second generation store runner.
Those, yes. These, like, some of these traits they do trickle down. Like, don't get me, my father wasn't in my household my whole life. Like, I can't say that, like, I didn't grow up with him. I didn't wake up to my daddy every single morning. But the one thing that I did see that he did do, like, my mama never touched a door. She never had to walk through no water,
Wow.
anything like that. Like, he would carry her over puddles and everything like that. And he always kept a job. One thing about both of my parents, if they worked somewhere, they didn't leave until the plant closed. My daddy was the exact same way. Like, he might not instilled it in me, but I saw it. You know what I mean?
And that is really be what it takes. A lot of these guys ain't seeing it. And for our generation, the ones that didn't see it in the home, there was still more men and more community. So the community was willing to step in for more of these guys. When they turned on the TV, they still seen Dr. Hustable. They still seen
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil. They still seen people going to college of all different walks of life.
Right.
Maybe I wasn't the rich black people, but I still got a chance to go to college. You know what I'm saying? These kids don't see nothing if it ain't in front of them. You know what I'm saying?
And it took me, I can't say it did take me. It took me a little while to just realize that point. Well, being a perfect parent or being a perfect dad is not a thing. You can't do that, but you can be present, and your presence is what means is what matters more than anything. And like you said, just the stepping up piece, and them seeing somebody that's in that positive light. We have to, like, the generation that I like, our generation. I'll say that 25 to 45 generation. We have to get into that. We have to get into that point where we are being that example, males and females. Where we are being that example as far as saying that it's okay for you to show your emotion. It's okay for you to want to explore different things. It's okay that you got squirted in your eye and it hurts. It's okay for you to verbalize that. And here lately, it's like everybody wants to be. We've talked about this in a previous episode. Everybody wants to be so hard, and it's not just males nowadays. It's women that say that we got to put this thick skin on in order for us to be able to live and get through stuff because everybody is gonna. It seems like the whole world is gonna come at me.
Yeah.
You're not even. You live in Granville County. How much of the world are you really dealing with? You're in the place that you're in the place that you're at. So deal with that first. Don't worry about all these other things right here because that's where we lose attention on what's right in front of us. And most of the time, that's our kids and the kids in our kids and the kids inside the community because we're focused on everything that's outside of that. How do we look good for how do we look good when we go out of town? How do we make it so like the people that's on social media see me this way? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and it was one girl, she made a post yesterday. It was what it said was being a dad is not hard. Some of y'all guys are just lazy.
Mhm.
I resonated with it to a certain extent.
Right.
To a certain extent. Because I feel like it's always a half-ass mama making a post like
Ooh,
that.
wait a minute.
I just like every time I've seen somebody like post that as far as like when you can generalize a whole group of people, what's really going on with you?
Mhm.
That you feel like that you need to put that out into the atmosphere for you to validate what you got going on. It has to be something for you to say that or for you to feel that type of way. But it doesn't start with these what you making seem to be whack ass baby daddies. Because if you got more than one of them,
Oh, wait a minute. Accountability.
come again, say what?
We're back.
Say what? Come
We're
again.
back to accountability.
Because if you got more than one of these people that you dealing with,
And ain't won't none of them no good.
and won't none of them no good. No, like if all of them feel like it's hard to be a daddy, you made that choice to have these whack ass baby daddies that you got. So is like we've been saying, it's the checks and balances as far as what do we need to be doing in a society that we actually value what everybody's role is. Like I can be totally honest about this. Me and my son's mother, we do not talk. We don't get. I ain't gonna say we don't get along because we don't talk or interact with each other. For us to say that we got a relationship that right there is a thing for us. But I ain't out here bashing her. I never tell nobody she's a bad mother. Like I might tell her, but I
Really
never.
don't. My shoes.
But I never tell anybody. I'm not going. That's not something that we are supposed to be out here doing. As far as bashing people for their parenting,
Mhm.
because it's a lot of things that she might have done that I don't like, or or I can say I dislike this, or like you're not doing like this right now. That's not okay with me, or no, that's not right with me. But to go out here and I'm telling it like she's this and she's that and she's this and she's that she's this. No, that makes me bitter. That makes me be I ain't gonna say a bad person, but that puts me in a negative light. When I know this woman will bend over backwards for my kid. We so many times what we do, we put our relationship with these people into the forefront instead of saying, okay, what does this woman do for my child? What
Mhm.
does this man do for my child?
And maybe
Instead,
that's something she could have
mhm,
considered for the coach. In the moment,
right.
if she would have thought back about it, oh, I
Mhm,
remember that time he took them home one day, or blah, 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 blah.
mhm,
However it applies it to you,
mhm.
maybe that could have helped her not take it so harshly and take him off the team had she considered,
Right.
like from that other side. And I think solution, because we're about solutions here,
Mhm,
not just people, men mad at women, women mad at men.
right.
The whole point of this podcast is about solutions. I feel like on the female aspect, if we set it down,
Mhm,
allow a man to help you in maybe in the absence of a father, or if there's a father that don't even want to participate, that's fine, to get perspective. I think so often you're approaching it as a woman with the right heart and the wrong perspective.
mhm.
Get a perspective from a man before you make a drastic move like, well, I'm just going to take him off the team, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is one. And to be able to think of it in a light that you might can't as a female. I think men do a far better job at this than women do. Knowing when to fold them when it comes to
Yeah.
child rearing, because I know men who have been single parents with daughters. When they get to that certain age where their life starts to change monthly, they hand that off to an aunt, a girlfriend, somebody like.
Man,
They don't try to be the authority. Why? Because they don't know and they never will.
that's
You know what I'm saying? So I think women need to learn to fall back.
mhm.
And when boys, yes, they need to be nurtured and loved. But just like girls get out of that age to where you get into a childbearing age, boys get out of that age to where they get in a childbearing age and they need a little bit less nurturing and a little bit more structure.
Discipline. Yes.
And I feel like women don't see that and back up a little bit, like
Mhm.
men can see that and back up a little bit. And some of that is due to being uncomfortable probably about it anyway. But either way, still they can recognize the experts when a girl gets to a certain age. I feel like women have trouble as single moms recognizing the experts when her son gets to. She's gonna be the expert on her son till he's 21. He is my son, is my king. And he about 19.
And,
You
and
know
I'm
what
like,
I'm saying?
yo, that's
Your son got a son, girl. Shut up.
exactly. You're like, my son is my king. No, that's your prince. Let's make it be what it's gonna be.
Let's go back and
Let's-
relearn the royal
Yes,
court.
yes, exactly. Let's go. Let's get back to that. That's so many times. And what's the syndrome? The Oedipus complex or something like that? Ain't it what it's called when you look for your mom and
In the
everybody?
woman. that
Yes,
you,
you look for your mother and everything. The reason why men are like that is because, like you said, like you were just saying, women don't take their hands off of them for a long freaking time. When I hit about 15, when I got my first job, when I started working at Food Line was my first job. When I started working there, my mama pretty much was like, not that you grown, but you're stepping into a new
new
level
phase
of life.
Yes.
You're not gonna be coming to me crying about anything. You're not gonna be coming to me asking me about a whole bunch of stuff.
These
Like,
little extras that you want, you better buy them
yeah,
yourself.
and all of that. Like, because one of the I hated that it happened, but my junior year of high school, my mom, like the plant that my mom was working at and the plant that my dad was working at, they both closed down. So
Mhm.
at 16 years old, I had to take on a role that nobody made me do it, but I'm like, okay, I gotta help my family. So it's like, okay, I
Yes.
gotta pay bills.
That's
I gotta buy
respect.
groceries. You know what I'm saying? So like it was a little bit different for us as far as like, okay, these are our responsibilities to make sure that the household is taken care of. If women would just say, okay, look, that's what your focus is. Before you leave my house, you need to be to some point you need to be self-sufficient.
Mhm.
It can't be a situation where every time something happens, you got to run back to me. My grandma was like, I knew who to run to. It wasn't my mama. It was gonna be my grandma.
Cause mama gonna tell, boy, didn't I tell you?
Mama told me from the get-go, she was like, I need you to have a job. I need you to go to school. If you go to jail, I'm not coming to get you. Like she put it all the way out there, like
Okay.
you're becoming a man, so you have to move it. You have to move in the ways of a man. And it's not that and you can't say that you haven't seen this, because like I said, my grandfather was in the house. Because my dad was like, I saw a man being a man inside of my house. So you move in that way. And the once we have mothers that are able to like relinquish that, because I see so many of these sports moms trying to live through their kid.
Ooh. That might be a separate show.
Sports
Sports parents living the dream through
like,
their kids.
and it's like every time, don't get me wrong, being proud of your kid, being proud of their accomplishments,
It's a must.
it's a must. Like putting it out there to the world, it's okay for you to do that. But when it gets to a point where you're consumed by that, when you're consumed and you're looking for the validation that your kid's supposed to be getting, what's the problem?
Yeah.
And a lot of times with kids, like with young boys in sports, it's like it's like that right there is what they're seeing a lot of too. Like my mama got a relationship with the coach. That might be why, like that's why I'm getting this. That's why I'm getting that. That's why I'm treated this way. That's why I'm treated that way because of my mom's relationship. They're not looking at me,
Wow.
and it's
That's unfortunate. Yeah. I'm just sitting back like, dang, that's
it,
unfortunate.
it happens. It happens a lot, man. And like I said, I really feel like that was one of the big reasons why my mom was not like she loved the fact that we were playing sports. She loved the fact that we were being active, but like she won't come into no games like that. She did not. She wanted us to have our own identity as far as okay, Jason, you're a great basketball player. It's because you're a great basketball player, not because I was here saying this, not because I was trying to influence the coach, not because me and the assistant coach was arguing all the time. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's because you went out here and you did what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
So that is that's that happy that's the happy place that I feel like moms need to get to as far as like, baby, this is about you.
Okay.
It ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just here to be your guide. And if you need me, I'm here. But don't try to hold their hand every single step that they're going through. I really felt like that right there was what the situation was because
Okay.
I can't because I wasn't there to be able to hold your hand. Now I gotta be buck and like I gotta flex my muscle because I wasn't there with you when that situation happened, and it can't be like that. Not all
And
the
women,
time anyway.
men do a better job at this than women. And we talked about this before we came in.
Mhm.
She let a bad day turn into a bad experience.
Yes.
That could have been something that he forgot all about in a week
Mm-hmm.
and went on about his business and still continued to participate. Now he will look back on a half finished season, a jersey hanging up that went nowhere, and a lot of wasted time and money. And really, maybe never even getting resolution about that if he was never allowed to talk to none of the people again. She just walked off the field and called him and said, "We quit." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It is no closure to that. So now it's in his mind, he may look back at, oh, that was a mess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When he could look back at it, not even remember the day that he got squirted in the eye by the time he's lived the rest of the experience.
By the time he finished, by the time the next day came around, he won't thinking about that. He
No
probably was
more.
thinking like it's time for practice. It's
You
practice
making
time.
him stress it by
Yes.
making him quit.
by putting all that pressure on him as far as like now you're not on the team and everything like that. The next day he probably wanted to go to practice.
Exactly. So I feel him on this. I feel like everybody could have handled it better. Yes, I don't cuss at my kids, so you don't cuss at your kids. Because the reality is, if it was a teacher, if you had said that, one of your kids' teachers had said that in the classroom, they would not still have a job or possibly be suspended. So just because you're out here on a field, you need to conduct yourself. You need to be able to be strong and talk strong, but also be smart enough to have some more letters to your words than 4.
Especially when you're dealing with
5-year-old
5-year-olds.
people. So that's that on that.
Yeah.
Second of all, mama, let's have some staying power.
Right.
Let's have some conflict resolution. Let's teach these kids how to get beyond a bad situation is not running away from it.
Did you see the video where the little boy's dad was recording him and he had an attitude like the little boy was mad, pissed off, and he threw a bag of bread at he threw the bread at his dad.
No.
Not the camera out his hand and everything.
What?
So I'm gonna tell you what happened. Like it was like one of the like when the caption for it was discipline at its finest. And it was just it was funny, but it was like, okay, you can see the structure in that moment.
Okay.
He asked the little boy, he was like, you know what time it is, right? The little boy knew exactly what was getting ready to happen. He was like, Drew Hills?
I saw that. Screamed and hollered. I think I'm gonna start doing that to my kids. For real. I'm gonna start doing that to my kids.
He was like, Drew Hills? And he was like, yep, Drew Hills. And he made him get up, and after everything was finished, he was like, you have to learn how to control your emotions. Then at the end of the video, the little boy said he didn't want to go play basketball. He was like, why don't you want to go? He said, because I just did 500 Drew Hills. The dad was like, you're exactly right. You don't have to go. He gave him discipline, then he tried to actually reward him as friends because basketball is their thing.
Okay.
But because he got because I've just been disciplined, I'm tired now, Pop.
Yes.
I don't want to go. He did not make him go. That is what I feel like sports moms or women who act like the soccer mom, everything like that, get some of that into your regimen.
Mhm.
As far as like the attitude control, the attitude adjustments and everything, because it's going to happen. You're going to a kid is gonna get hit on the football field. They're gonna get tripped up on the basketball court. They're gonna get tackled on the foot. They're
It's
gonna
gonna
get
be a
tackled.
bad call
It's
here
gonna
or there.
it's all of these things are going to happen, and your child is going to go through some things as far as like with their emotions and how they deal with all this, and it's going to be a lot. But what you have to do is you have to realize that they're going like when they're getting coached, they're going to have to get some type of discipline. If you do it at like we were talking about with my mom, if you do it at home, they are already used to it before they actually get into those settings.
Mhm.
I feel like if you want your kids to be active, if you want your kids to be doing all of these things, you need to find the time to make that be a at home experience first. You have to know what your child is like. If your child gets hit, what is going to
What type of
happen?
person are
What
they?
type
And
of
see, that plays into knowing your child
Mhm.
different ways to find discipline.
Right.
The 500 Drew Hills, what worked for him.
Yes.
He didn't call him stupid. He didn't call him a
Mhm.
bad name. He really didn't even yell. He was just talking sternly.
Mhm.
He didn't say, see, because you complaining like a little bitch. He didn't say
None
nothing.
of
You know
that.
what I'm
Right.
saying? But he took a means and a way to get him under control. That's what we have to learn to start doing to our kids and get out of this slave mentality that it takes demeaning to get them to listen. All too often, the kid's will is very strong.
Mhm.
But my mama used to say it like this: you have to figure out a way to break their will without breaking their spirit. When you cuss a 5-year-old,
Woo!
you could potentially break their spirit, and now the rest of the experience is ruined. When they wrong, and whether they strong-willed enough, they have to be led the right way.
Right.
But I was taught that in real time by my mama. I was lucky enough to have a mama.
Yeah.
She wasn't absent. I didn't bounce around being raised by a
Right.
lot of people my mama won't in the street.
Yeah.
I said something that, like when I had my oldest daughter, I might have been talking to her. I don't know what happened. But in that moment, my mama had to talk to me and
Mhm.
explain that to me. Yeah, she acting bad as fuck right now. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta try to strategize, and learning the child as they get older will help you find those little Drew Hill strategies, those
Right.
little small things you have to do and small ways you have to like with my older kids used to act bad, be real ungrateful. I used to make them watch videos and look at stuff of like starving kids in Africa and shit.
Mhm.
Like uh kids that were severely neglected and abused.
Mhm.
Okay, you want to run away. Okay, you hate your mom and daddy. It's
Let me-
people who mama and daddy raped them and killed them, bro.
Right.
And you sit up here mad because you can't have a lollipop. You better get out of here. I'm gonna show you how real it is.
And exactly.
And still love you. See,
Right.
every certain stuff like that, make it real for them in real time. And you didn't cuss at them one time. You might not have even yelled. You didn't demean them or try to make them try to relate them to something as less than. Like when he did the little cheerleader thing, like you're trying to make him feel less than. You know,
Yeah.
it don't take none of that, but it may take knowing your child to see the strategies that work outside of being rude.
Like I'm gonna tell you, like when it comes to my oldest, like she was one of those ones that she used to tell me all the time. She's like, Dad, I'd rather you whoop me than to talk to me.
Oh my god. But sometimes that's
And-
how strong the truth is.
and it for a long time, I'm like, why does she say this? Like, why is that a thing? And it's like she like as she got older, she told me she was like to hear she's like when you to hear the disappointment in your voice, like to hear that the upsetness in your voice.
Mm.
She like that's what bothers me. That's what'll make me cry. That's what gets under my skin. And she was like, you really, really care. Yes, I do. I do not want you out here doing nothing crazy. I do not want anything doing. I don't want anybody doing you wrong. when you do something wrong, you have to realize that you have a piece and a part in this right here. You're not being punished or being, I can't say chastised. That's too messed up of a word. You're being punished for your part in this situation. I'm talking to you like this because of your part in the situation. I can count on one hand how many times I've physically done anything to my kids. One, and that's all of them. I've never been that person where I felt like you said, where violence is the way to get things across. I got my ass whooped several times. That did not
You were
it
still.
I still did whatever I wanted to do. I still, I still had that rebellious streak, all of that. So like all it did was made it so like can't nobody whoop my ass
And that's one
now.
thing I don't get about the older generation. A
Hmm.
lot of them say things like, we got women's or I got to whip it every day. Well, obviously it didn't work
Right.
if you had to keep getting them. You
Spit
know what I'm saying?
that's
So why are you still enamored with the whoopings? If you had to keep getting them, they didn't work.
it was one thing that you were saying. It was like how the Bible was deviated to make us believe certain things or like these are
Right.
the way that things are supposed to go. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
I mean, just shoot
What?
me. When I learned the rod is how they guide and correct sheep, and it
Right,
doesn't mean
right,
this. I
right,
was mad
right,
at every
right.
preacher I ever met until the one that explained that to me. I was like,
Exactly.
"Are you serious?" I felt so cheated.
And that right there was the thing. It's like we were brought up to believe that if we won't get in our ass whooped
Our
or
parents didn't love us.
and that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. I only do this because this does not feel like love.
And
This
I'm
does not
supposed to
feel
try
it.
to figure out how
I'm
this
trying.
is love.
Nah, and I said I would never be one of those people when it came to my kids as far as like how I discipline them.
Mhm.
And one thing that I can say as far as like how I let other people discipline my kids. Like you said, you're not going to talk to my kids any kind of way. I cussed at mine? Fuck yes. Will I cuss at them again?
Maybe so.
Fuck yes. Not even a maybe. Fuck yes. If they're not moving in the right ways, sometimes your delivery has to change up for them to get it.
Yeah.
And if you get it, and if I'm being the cool, calm parent all the time, and you still running over me, and then I'm like, bitch, you better sit your fucking ass
Mm.
down, and you do it. Sometimes you have to be that parent. But when other people are in that, when other you have to let other people know who you are and how you deal with your kids. A lot of times we don't give people the blueprint of how our kid is.
Yeah. That's
Because
true.
if you got a badass kid,
You know you do.
you know your kid is bad as hell. If you know you got an angel for a little boy or a little girl, you know
If
that too.
he's super
As
sensitive,
he or she is super sensitive, you know that too. So you have to give people the blueprint for how to actually raise yours or how to talk to yours. If Trey coaches baseball,
Mhm.
cross country, all of that. If I know for a fact that if my kid is running and he trips up, he's probably gonna be embarrassed. I gotta let Trey know from the get go. Like, look, he's sensitive, man.
He's not gonna talk for 2 hours
He's
after he
he's
falls.
probably he's probably like he's probably not he's probably gonna go into a shell. But you like just make sure that he continues to practice. I don't want you to take him out. I don't want you to like put him to the side or take him out of any activity, anything like that. But I just need you to understand that like he's probably gonna be in a shell for a little bit. And he might not be as vocal, and we both need to work on that because if that's something that you need from him, I need to be able to put that in him.
Mm.
So it has to be a negotiation with the people that you actually letting be around your kids
Yes.
and dealing
Be
with your kids.
clear.
You got to be clear about it. And a lot of times we just throw our kids out into some shit, and when some stuff like that happens, it's like, oh, no, you didn't do your responsibility. You didn't take you didn't move in the right way in order for it to be okay for this right here to be an incident or for this to happen. Cause I'm pretty sure if your girl's cheerleading and everything like that, and if she twist like Kadera might twist her ankle or something like that. Anything like that happen, like look, she gonna she got a little attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So if that happened, you know what I'm saying, some might come out of mouth. She might fly off the deep end for a little bit, but I'm giving you the blueprint. I'm giving you the code, so you know that right there is gonna happen. If it gets too far out of hand, call
Call
me
me.
because I know
For
how
real.
my child is.
Yes.
We have to get into that mode too. So we can't always put the fault and the blame on somebody who has never dealt with our kids. We can't do that all the time. We have to be, if we're gonna be involved parents, we gotta be involved with everything from the
Yes.
start to the end. So
For
that's
real.
how I feel about it.
For real.
That's
For
how I
real.
feel about it. But you know how we do. We get to the point where we just get to bouncing off each other. We don't know how to stop talking. But man, just want to thank y'all for tuning in. Um, Make sure y'all continue to view all the other episodes if you haven't seen them already. Run the views up. We are so adamant about you putting comments on the YouTube page. We post it on Facebook, but like go to the page and actually put some comments on there. We want to see some comments up under the page.
Like, subscribe,
Yes,
share, all that good stuff.
all that
Coaches,
good
tap
stuff.
in. If you are a coach that works with young children, let us know what you think in the comments.
I'm about to say I'm definitely gonna reach out to Twan and actually let him know about the episode because me and like Twan, I know you've dealt with a whole lot of these situations. We actually talked about this probably about a month ago. So I definitely want you to chime in and actually tell us what you think about it. Or like, what are some ways that you feel like people can actually handle or actually get past some of these type of situations when we have these crazy incidents or what we consider to be crazy incidents. So episode 6, G, we done with it, man.
All
Like
right.
I just can't believe that we are moving this fast. I just can't, man. But I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it.
For real.
Um, we're gonna come up with some, matter of fact, we're gonna keep on saying that too every episode. We need topics, man. Like we can come up with stuff like we good at that as far as
What's
like,
on y'all
but what's
mind?
on
What's
y'all
bothering
mind?
y'all
what
right
y'all
now?
what y'all want us to talk about? What's some things that y'all feel like we need to put some attention to, man? But
Or what do you think people are afraid or not talking about?
that's it. That's dope right there.
The conversations that maybe you feel like everybody's tiptoeing around.
That's it. I about to say I got one for sure. But we talked about that yesterday. We ain't gonna spill the beans on it. We ain't gonna spill the beans on it. We ain't gonna spill the beans on it. But want to thank y'all for viewing, man. Make sure, like I said, once again, make sure y'all run the views up, run the comments up. Just keep on supporting, man. Everybody has been supporting so far. We appreciate y'all. Y'all just tell somebody, tell a friend, and tell a friend about the classmates. We just gonna keep this thing rocking and rolling, man. But until next week, we'll holler at y'all. I'm A-Rod Go Hard.
I'm KB.
That bell is ringing. We'll holler at y'all.
Peace.